Putin is touting Russia's naval nuclear prowess as Ukraine self-implodes. That's a big story tonight. Russia is putting on a show of force the world cannot ignore. This week, the Russian President Vladimir Putin unveiled Russia's newest nuclear-powered submarine cruiser. It's called the Kenya's Posark Sea. It's a part of Russia's Bore A-class, armed with Bulava ballistic missiles, advanced torpedoes and stealth systems that make it nearly invisible undersea. Putin called it the backbone of Russia's naval nuclear forces, and he says 6 more nuclear submarines will join the fleet by 2030. So the question being, is this just routine military modernization, or is this a calculated reminder to the West that Russia's nuclear shield is untouchable? I say this because while Putin was inducting this submarine, Russia was also flexing its naval muscle on a massive scale. More than 150 warships and support vessels, 120 aircraft, 15,000 personnel, all of that taking part in sweeping drills, codenamed July Storm. The drills span the Pacific and Arctic Oceans, the Baltic Sea and the Caspian Sea, a show of force across 4 strategic seas. In the Sea of Japan, meanwhile, Russia's flagship missile cruiser Varyag fired a cruise missile at simulated enemy ships. Missile boats launched Moskit missiles and coastal defense units fired Onyx cruise missiles. All targets destroyed, all strikes recorded and broadcast to the world. So, who is this message really for? What is Russia trying to gain? Is it for the America and its allies? Or Ukraine, battered, exhausted, and fighting to hold every inch of the ground? Because as Putin showcased his naval and nuclear might, Russian forces continued their relentless strikes inside Ukraine. In Kharkiv, glide bombs rained down on residential neighborhoods. At least 33 people were injured, including a 28-day-old baby in the Russian strikes and 2 teenagers. Footage from the ground showed residents fleeing as thick black smoke rose from burning cars and shattered buildings. In Kherson, meanwhile, Russian airstrikes hit what Moscow claims was the Ukrainian army's headquarters. Soldiers and police officers were meeting there at that time when the Russian strike took place. Some tried to flee, but their vehicles were destroyed. If this is true, then it would be yet another blow to Ukraine's perhaps already vulnerable command structures. And as Russian missiles tear through Ukrainian cities, Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky is scrambling to strengthen Ukraine's defenses. He is now looking to secure funding for 10 Patriot air defense systems, which Kyiv sees as an important addition in its arsenal. As of now, Germany has offered to pay for 2, but can Ukraine find sponsors for the rest before it's too late? Sure, for the first time in months, there are hints of possible direct talks between Zelensky and Putin. Zelensky says Russian negotiators have begun discussing a potential meeting between both the leaders. The question being, is this a glimmer of hope or a sign of desperation? Because Ukraine is facing battlefield losses and strained Western support. And if that wasn't enough, a different battle is unfolding within Ukraine's own borders. This week, Ukrainians are rallying in Kyiv, demonstrating against anti-graft agency curbs introduced by Parliament and President Zelensky himself. Thousands took to the streets earlier this week. New measures handed greater control over Ukraine's anti-corruption bureau and the prosecution unit as well to a Zelensky-appointed prosecutor. Critics call this a political pressure in Ukraine. Some warned it could perhaps derail Ukraine's hopes to join the European Union. In response to the backlash, Zelensky reversed course. On Thursday, he submitted a draft bill to restore the independence of these agencies. He called the new bill well-balanced and said it guarantees protection against Russian influence in Ukraine. But will this calm public anger in Ukraine? As bombs fall, as Russia flexes its nuclear and naval power, And as internal dissent brews in Kyiv, the question remains, how long can Ukraine hold its ground against Moscow while keeping its own house in order? Or is Putin betting that Ukraine will crumble from the outside and the inside? Well, that only time will tell.